Some of our favorite conversations during this series have been with serial entrepreneurs. Picking their brains about their experiences always yields some interesting insights. This week, we got to talk with Andrew Hoag, who used his extensive variety of leadership know-how to create a new solution for financial managers.
I just realized really quickly there's no tool that controls money within a company. And when you think about it, most tools that finance are using today have been built over 15 years ago. And so I saw this opportunity to bring a first-class consumer-grade experience to the finance team. Hi, I'm Andrew Hoag, and I'm the founder and CEO at Teampay.
Enabling better communication between teams and better control over company spending, Teampay is an example of how founders can take everything they've learned throughout their lives to create a unique solution for people who have dealt with the same problems. What is the mission and history behind Teampay?
I think for me, Teampay really came about around solving kind of my own problem. We realized is a lot of companies have a communication problem between the finance team, which has all the numbers, all the information, all the policies, and the employees at the edges. And so Teampay is really a software product that sits in the middle and bring those two parties together. So we help employees understand where they should buy something, how they should pay for it, and what process they need to go through to get it done. And then on the finance side of it, we allow them to set the rules of the road up front, put their policies in place, and then the software acts as the middleman and actually intermediates between the two parties. Finance teams now are able to empower their employees to make better decisions, which frankly is what most employees want: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. We believe money is important. We believe it's the lifeblood of companies. It's the system of, all of the blood that flows through a company, and controlling that is really important. So Teampay's mission is to help companies be smarter about how they're spending, give them more control and better visibility without slowing the business down in a modern environment.
How do you blend customer feedback with product development?
Customers always ask for something that solves their problem, right? They hired you, they hired your product to solve their problem. So they'll tell you what they need. My product team uses a methodology called RICE, R-I-C-E, right? Where you look at reach, impact, cost, efficiency, I think are the four. And when you run through that, you can prioritize those incoming features based on what customers ask for. I think what makes products great are the features customers don't ask for. And that's harder. Picking up clues, being curious. And then the last piece is really having some hypotheses and running some tests. So you're not just a feature factory based on what your customers need, but you're actually leading the market from the front, not from the back. There's other features that we've got coming later this year where we see opportunities that our customers are not asking for, but I love that kind of stuff. That's the art. The way that I look at it is you want to focus on it's how do you do stuff that customers aren't asking for, but they actually need.
Being a part of so many startups has honed Andrew's intuition. However, he demonstrates that it's important to listen to and refine your instincts. Use your experiences in the trenches to create solutions while backing them up with real feedback and data. A great book on this subject is by Nobel Prize-winning psychologist Daniel Kahneman, called Thinking Fast and Slow. He stresses that intuition works best in the presence of three elements, which Andrew has nailed: at least some regularity and order, lots of practice, and immediate feedback. As an entrepreneur, how do you deal with a market downturn?
Each situation is different. I think it's a pendulum. And this pendulum has swung back and forth in my career probably 4 or 5 times, starting with the .com. And then, it swung to the other side and then swung back again and then swung to the other side in the financial crisis. And then, we've been in this bull run for a while and it swung really far to the other side. I think it's going to swing and then it'll swing back. So, I think at the end of the day, the only thing as an entrepreneur that you really can control and focus on is your own execution and continuing to move the business forward with the long-term belief that you're building a good business. Cash is king right now. And the reason cash is king is because you need the runway and you need to last through that. It's the old quote of the difference between success and failure is getting up off the mat one more time than the other guy. And in those worlds, when you're early and when you're just starting out, especially in today's environment where you're not going to get a premium on growth, you're not going to get the latitude to just spend money and figure it out later. Survival is the number one thing. It's like the lottery. You got to buy a ticket to win it. And if you're still standing at the end of this, because this will end, the economy will start expanding again. And if you're still there, you're going to be able to rise with that tide, and you're going to have learned a lot of lessons along the way about how to run a good business and how to be efficient. So I think focusing on survival and doing whatever you have to do to survive during that time is the number one thing you can do to put yourself in a place to be successful.
Do you have any more advice for aspiring entrepreneurs?
I don't believe that it's something you can do halfway. Now, with that said, I do believe that you can validate a lot of the risk. You can remove a lot of the questions and the risk long before you quit your job. You can talk to customers, you can build prototypes. You don't need to raise money. That's not important. But you can validate a lot of the market and product risk. You can find out if people think they would use it. You could understand if it would actually solve their problem. That validation, I think, is so important. And all that stuff you can do early on, really before you kind of put all your eggs in that basket. But once you decide that that's what you want to do, you got to commit. And not everybody has the risk tolerance for it, right? And I think that's the other part of it. I think some of that you have more experiences as you're later in life, but you also have a lot more at risk sometimes. And so understanding your own risk tolerance and setting boundaries around that is really important.